If I start telling people about hell, I might just scare them off. Where are you going to scare them off to? Hell number 2? Or are you just going to sit there and let them burn?
Hey guys, I would like to personally invite you to come out to one of the showings of House and Time. This particular event is very close to my heart because all of the proceeds from the ticket sales go to the 501c3 nonprofit Friends of Parkinson. And I sit on the board of that organization. So I'm very excited. Please come out, support your local film community as well as a nonprofit that serves those suffering from or affected by Parkinson's disease. Thank you.
All right, this is Chris from Don't Let Them Burn. Welcome to the program. Don't forget to check us out on don'tletthemburn.com and also on Twitter. Follow my Telegram channel. The links are in my channel description. It's also on my Twitter and on my Facebook. Not on Facebook much, but anyway, this is the Political Edge, and we'll be covering a few topics of some things that have been going on within the last 2-3 weeks, whatever. And this is a start of a pretty exciting year, good and bad. A lot of things going on, but just want you to understand that Jesus Christ is the only way out of this mess. But as we're still here, we have a lot to cover. And check out our other segments. We have Hollywood Matrix. We have, like this one is the Political Edge. We have Paranormal Shift. And other segments is 12 segments all combined, all together, I mean. And so you want to check those out so you don't miss a thing. And if, one subject doesn't pertain to your liking, you could go to another one, right? So tonight we have a guest on with me. Her name is Rhonda Settles and is from Got Films Production. And we talk about politics a lot. So without further ado, Rhonda, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
All right, Miss Producer's wife.
Yes.
Um, I guess you could tell the audience a little bit about yourself, how you got into politics, and then we could start getting into some of these modern issues.
Well, um, I have been interested in politics since high school. Um, and I was a debater at the Sun Youth Forum in high school, which had a lot to do with politics. They'd take us out to meet the local politicians. And I've followed it. I've gotten involved. I've hit the pavement for, um, through the years for different people. Um, and my father was also very involved in politics. So
Okay, so what really, got your feet into it now in the modern times? Because you kind of followed politics more than I did before I met you.
yes, um, I would say during the early 2000s, um, I was receiving a lot of information that at the time was considered conspiracy type things. Um, so 23 years later, it it's no longer a conspiracy,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Yeah, true. All right. So we went through um, the Bushes and the Clintons and then the Obamas and finally got Trump. And then now we're back to Obama 2.0 under Biden. And nothing but chaos for the last 3 years. But there have been some good spots, some things, some glimmers of hope. I know that a lot of people are looking at the entire situation sort of from an American point of view. Yes, we know we're in the end times and Christ can come back and get us at any moment. That's on the preacher rapture.
Jesus.
And also, Israel is a time clock, right?
Yeah.
Literally. And we see a lot of things going on over there as well. In fact, they're the most jabbed nation, right?
Oh boy.
So there's some stuff going on there. But I don't give in to fatalism, despair, nihilism, and anything that comes along the lines of just the things that can just get you depressed, right?
Yeah.
As we get into all of these political issues, I want to remind people that, God is on the throne. And no matter what we see, the things that enrage us, the things that make us want to actually pick up arms and whatever else, you know, protect our families, maybe even start storing up some food or whatever it is. God is on the throne, no matter what. We
That's true.
all got to have our individual issues. Some people are locked up because of J6, and they have to go through their trials. But I've heard stories about people that are actually in prison right now, and not necessarily J6, but some of them are Christians, and they've got closer to the Lord. So sometimes God puts us in that pressure cooker, or not. Let me not say puts us in there, but He allows us to get in that pressure cooker and build up our faith. And so with all of that, I guess I want to just go over some Bible verses before we get into everything. Proverbs 29:2 says, "When the righteous increase, the people rejoice, but when a wicked man rules, people groan." That's what's going on today, right? All around the world, not just America. And that's what I'm talking about. The American mindset is kind of like, oh, this is all whatever. Um, this has to be it for America.
Mhm.
America's going to fall right now in 2 years or whatever. We don't know that, but what we do know, we're at a very specific point in time that I'm never thought I'd be going through. To tell you the truth, even though I know a lot of Bible prophecy, I never saw it like this. Then we go to Psalms 125, verse 3. For the scepter of wickedness shall not rest upon the land of the righteous, so that the righteous will not put forth their hands to wrongdoing. Right? And a lot of
For the
people are
scepter of wickedness shall not
uh,
rest.
open to doing wrong. You know, God doesn't want us to do wrong, so we take it day by day, take it day by day. Proverbs 28:15, like a roaring lion and rushing bear is a wicked ruler over a poor people. And we see that this regime in power right now is trying to lord over the poor. That's why they're doing certain things with the IRS. They're going after the lower middle class and the poor because they want them to suffer first. Um, Isaiah 10:1, woe to those who enact evil statutes and to those who constantly record unjust decisions. And I'll stop right there for now. Rhonda, you got anything to say?
Well, when you just said that they're going after the poor, and because they want them to suffer first, where does that come from?
As far as my thoughts,
Yeah.
well, the IRS, they're targeting the less fortunate with a lot of the rules that they're coming out with. If you sell over $600 on a platform, you have to keep reporting it, or else you're going to get in some real big trouble. $600, really? I remember when the threshold was $20,000,
Right.
and so this is just a Marxist play, um, and it usually does start with the poor. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I mean, like you said, no matter what happens, we can't live um, in a place where that's all we're focused on, because we have to live you know, we need to keep our eyes off of the temporal and on the eternal. And that's, of course, you and I talk all the time, so that's where our basis is.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. We see what happened with the midterms, and now we have the Speaker of the House, who is a, for those that know, it's McCarthy. What's his first name again? I'm sorry.
Kevin McCarthy.
Kevin McCarthy, and he is a World Economic Forum member. I think
Yeah,
that's
he reminded everybody about that
uh,
on
yeah.
Don't
And
Let Them Burn.
and whoever doesn't know what the World Economic Forum is, you're incredibly out of touch right now. Okay, so I'm hoping that everyone listening knows what that is.
Wake
It's
up.
it's pretty much a pseudo governmental system set up by rulers that want to rule the whole planet. And so what they've done is through Klaus Schwab and other people, they've planted their members, their global leaders in many countries to usurp the authority and bring in a technocracy. But they're not saying that, but that's what exactly what they're talking about in their books and even some of the verbiage on their website. And if you go and look up videos about Klaus Schwab, you'll see a ton of stuff leading to technocracy or transhumanism. But they're trying to use Marxist tactics, Nazi tactics, communist tactics um, uh, that would pretty much enslave most people. So the elites will benefit, um, and the rest of us, or whoever is locked down, if God lets them get through with their plans, it will take a lot of blood for this whole thing to happen. So that's why you see a bunch of talk about climate change, um, technocratic rule, the robots, the smartphones, the smart meters. I can go on and on, but you need to look into the World Economic Forum. You need to read Klaus Schwab's COVID-19, The Great Reset, and they have another book as well. So just to fill anybody in that don't know, and it is riding on the backbone of the Nazis. This is the Fourth Reich. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with everything that you said. Specifically, the things that have been happening very recently, like regarding the House of Representatives and Kevin McCarthy and the whole. It was, I mean, did it even did it even look real to you, that whole the whole thing that was going on?
Uh, it was a show to me, but at the same time, I kind of understand now after waiting. I usually don't hit things when they just come out. I try to wait
Hmm.
what else happens afterwards, and I see now that Trump is working in the background with some of the America First candidates, and they've got I don't have a list in front of me. I'm sorry, guys, I didn't prepare for that, but they have a bunch of stuff that will hold Kevin McCarthy's feet to the fire if he doesn't comply with what's going on. And I say that we, the people, need to hold even the America First candidates feet to the fire as well, because you never know when corruption can come in. So
You're right.
as far as I know, uh, the 87,000 IRS agents that they were going to have come after people in whatever capacity. They were even training them with firearms. If you don't know that, you want to go look that up. Um, so they I think they repealed that on the first day. Am
Yeah.
I correct? All right.
Yes.
And now the word is that they're trying to disband the IRS and bring in a new system, which I heard about this before from another contact of mine. Um, that they're going to bring in a new system of taxation, but it's supposed to be like a flat tax. You have anything to say about that?
Well, right now, what they're talking about is the consumption tax, and people were excited about it. But when I read it, I was like, that's that's too. What exactly does that mean?
Right.
So I'm very 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 skeptical of that.
Yeah, I don't like vague language, you know. Um, but I mean, people can go back and forth and debate this issue. But when they did the taxation, it wasn't part of the Constitution when it was first introduced. So,
Mm.
what do you think should happen?
Um, well, what do you mean, just off the top of my head?
It's off the top of your head.
There should just be some system where it really doesn't matter how much you make. Everybody just pays the same. That's
Okay.
generally.
Hmm.
Will that work? I
Now,
don't know.
now that you say that, I'm not sure if this thought came up in your mind, but I hope
What?
that this doesn't lead to what I'm about to say.
Oh boy.
Because with the global leaders and the United Nations and the World Health Organization, they're setting up for universal basic income.
Mm,
That is it's more of a pay, not what you make, you know? Um, when I say not what you make, meaning they're not taxing your income per se, they're giving you allotments. So uh, whether that universal basic income is $1,500 a month or $200 a month, whatever it is, it doesn't give people an opportunity to innovate. It's not a free market anymore. You're not going to be able to innovate and live the American dream, so to speak. You know, and this is they want to implement this thing globally, right? Sound like something the Antichrist would do, you know, but
right.
it's all based off what China's doing with their form of social credit score, universal basic income. And I've been reading about this since I believe 2017, and I would post it online, and nobody would say anything. I mean, I'm like, man, people don't even know what's coming, you know. And
Mm.
some people they really think it's off into the future, but if these people get their way, um, whether it's through the Democrats or the Republican, uh, again, the people that are not elites will suffer. I mean,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. And I actually want to go back to something that you were mentioning about holding people's feet to the fire, including um, the America First candidates. I just remembered about the whole Tea Party movement. Remember how the Tea Party movement was infiltrated
mhm.
and uh, and it totally got hijacked. So it's definitely possible, to it's like that's exactly what America, the people, we the people definitely need to hold these representatives' feet to the fire, and we need to keep our eyes open and ask questions, investigate where we can, and quit expecting somebody to come rescue you. It's like we have minds, and we just can't sit around and wait for the next guy to do something. We all need to participate.
Yeah, yeah. And well, one thing I'll say though, as far as participating, I've seen people um, get so much into the political side
Hmm.
that they get distracted from their spiritual growth, reading the Bible, going to church as much as they should because God wants us to congregate, and they get so entrenched into the politics they lose their way.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, and for
no, I don't mean by that. That's not what I mean.
no, I know. I'm just saying that for people that have that mindset, and also there's the thought out there that oh, Christians shouldn't be involved in politics. Well, it's ridiculous because guess what? The Bible is political from beginning to end. You know, you have uh, the Hasatan coming down to the usurper kingdom from Adam and Eve.
Hmm.
You have God building His kingdom through the church. That, in the sense of we're helping to save souls or whatnot. Then we have when Jesus returns, we have a theocracy set up. this is America, and
Right.
it's built uh, on certain ethics that you have to be involved as citizens. It's not some dictatorship or something. We have to vote, and don't say your vote doesn't matter, and it doesn't all this stuff that people say all the time because they feel like they're losing. There are many times in America that people didn't even know that we were losing, and they didn't realize it. So now that you realize it, you better be even more involved. you know. So I just want to say those things. So yeah, we should run for office. We should get on the school board. What is the uh, Reagan was supposed to repeal something,
The Board of Education.
Board of Education, and it turns out that he you know flopped on that one. He was
Oh,
involved, he was involved with some people that most people don't realize, and I don't have all the information in front of me right now to go into it. But Reagan is not exactly who you think he is. So I think you need to do more research on him. But anyway, the Board of Education needs to be gone. We need to go back to the old standards. We need to, the colleges used to teach the Bible first, as long as and the schools, they were ran by pastors um, and others that were like generals. They would come out, but they were also clergymen, and they
yeah.
would teach in the schools, teaching They started some of these colleges at first, and so these institutions have been taken over by Marxists, and this has been happening since the 1940s. So it slowly happened, but I don't want to sidetrack on that. But we have to realize that our education system is so messed up. We're so dumbed down to the fact that when we go back, not even 100 years, we see better education for everybody, really. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we had pockets of places that didn't educate well, but for the most part, Americans were educated and moral because the church had a strong ability to teach the gospel and put out good theology. So anyway, I just wanted to say that because I think, like I said, a lot of people are in the mode of despair. They're in the mode of fatalism and even coming down to nihilism, where they just think about death all the time. So, so go ahead.
Oh, by the way, it's the Department of Education. I said the Board of Education.
Department. I messed up too, but go ahead. The audience will forgive us.
Um, and the other day when all that Speaker of the House stuff was going on, and I wasn't even into it. I was doing something else, and I think I had it on. There was no volume. There was the ticker was going. Um, and I was just like over it. Remember, I said, you know what? I'm just over this. These people, they're gonna, nominate some person that's totally not America first. Um, and then I looked up and realized that it to me that it was I understood what was happening, um, and that the whole thing with the Matt Gates and who else was running that whole show. Um, but they really were trying to get McCarthy to agree to a bunch of things
Mhm.
that if he does not, then he can get thrown out.
Right.
And
Yes.
that's really, I mean, so we'll see. But I mean, come on, Chris. We've got even some of the patriots who seem to be operating at an honest level. They've been there for a long time and they haven't been able to, you know, do anything. We've also had all of the cards. We held all the cards at one time.
Yeah. Too many rhinos.
Yeah.
Too many rhinos. And too many. I mean, if we could pull back the curtain on everything right now, I think everybody would probably throw up. all the corruption that's there between, you know, we can't even pick a side anymore. It's like they're two, the same bird, two different wings, but at least we do have some people that love this country that are fighting for us. Um, and I see glimmers of hope. Uh, again,
Yeah.
it's not about, because I've heard it over and over again. It's too late. We're too far gone, and all this stuff. Listen, the, the, the military's not at your door with guns, dragging you out to some FEMA camp or something, to burn you or arrest you, whatever it is. Yes, they're demonizing us in the media. Anyone
Mm.
that supports Trump or anything constitutional, actually, you know, if you love guns, they want to demonize you.
You
Um,
love Jesus, they want to demonize you.
Yes, yeah, exactly. If you love Jesus, they want it. Facebook is censoring Bible verses, you know. So we're not at the part yet that blood is being spilled in the streets of America, especially by its own citizens. We're not there yet. So we're not totally lost. Now we're at a precipice for sure. We're at a precipice, and the nation is like a house sliding off a hill. Just don't let it fall. But the good thing is that more people are waking up, more people are fighting, more people are running for office or whatever. And I mean, we have to count the good stuff too. We can't just focus on the bad. Look what happened with Roe v. Wade. Look at how many states
Mhm.
have banned abortion. You know, There's some good stuff happening.
Yeah.
A lot of people won to be members of the school board after they see all of this gender ideology craziness going on. And I don't even want to get into that because it's just madness. But the thing that shocks me is how many people don't know about it. It shocks me in one way and it doesn't shock me in another, because
Right.
the media would just glass God, they don't want you to find out any of this stuff. And if you do find out about it, they're glorifying it. You know. So anyway, go ahead.
No, you're right. There are a lot of people that that are not exactly asleep that have no clue about those the kinds of things that were going on as far as the gender and the drag shows and the kids and all that. I was it blew my hair back when I told someone and they had no idea. And this person is highly intelligent, educated, keeps up with things obviously that was missed, that I was very, very surprised.
Right, right. So, going right back to the Speaker of the House thing, I just want to lay out a couple things here that's lined out on Twitter. It says what they're doing pretty much effectively neuters McCarthy. The original 20 have a pact that if McCarthy does anything outside his promises, they will vote to not retain, and he's gone.
Yeah,
And the funny thing about that is who will replace him if that happens. Because what the Democrats had in store for us was just another Obama.
that's right.
Did you hear his speech? Oh
No.
my gosh, it was just scripted nonsense, but a bunch of gender, not just gender, race baiting, virtue signaling, just the typical stuff, man.
Right.
Typical stuff. And of course, a lot of just cheap shots at President Trump.
Oh boy.
Let's see here. The rest of the rules package would mark the first time HRC would have independent authority from leadership in over 60 years. Good for accountability and the public. Process requires the vote for speaker to happen first. Process requires the vote for speaker to happen first, members swearing in, then rules package. However, if McCarthy tries to back out of any concession, he won't have the votes for any rules package, and we're back to a stall. Congress can't move without a rules package affirmed. Sources tell me, this is Jenna Ellis on Twitter.
Mm,
Sources tell me the 10 p.m. vote is likely going. Okay, so this already passed right here. But she was
right.
laying out some of the stuff that's included in the package on Twitter. So there are a lot of good stuff in there. Go look it up for yourself. It's a good read. And so we're at a place here where a lot of good things can happen. And I'm looking forward to the IRS thing, by the way. Like get out my business, homie. Yeah, but anyway, but here, all right. So controversy. Remember they went after Trump for all of these documents that the president is allowed to have.
Oh yeah.
And guess what's happening now? Biden
Hmm.
is getting caught with documents that are truly illegal to have because he was the vice president,
That's right.
and only the president can declassify secret documents. And he has them stored in two locations. One is at three now. Oh wow!
Three different locations, and they weren't even locked up. One of them, one set of these documents was stored in a garage with his, I forget who called it this, with his gas guzzling Corvette.
Oh.
They
Yeah,
were just in a box.
wow. Yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
that's crazy, man. And we all know they're lying. They lie all the time. That's their nature. They can't
Yeah.
do anything else but lie. And it's one of the things in Rules for Radicals, the book by oh man, I hate when I forget people's names. Saul Alinsky.
Mm.
It's pretty much bottom line is what you're doing, you accuse the next person of doing. So when you see Biden them accusing President Trump of having illegal documents, that's exactly what they're doing. When you hear Russia, 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 that's what they were doing. Uranium One and all these things. You remember that?
Absolutely. In
Yeah,
every single situation, that
yeah,
is just part of their policy and procedure.
yeah, absolutely. So they just love lying, and we know it. It's just now we're seeing the evidence. You know, even with all the Twitter files, we're just seeing the evidence of what we already knew.
Yeah.
You know, um, and I think, I mean, this is a sore point for a lot of people. They don't believe accountability is coming, and at one point I had the same mindset, but because there are glimmers of hope, accountability could be around the corner, even faster than you might think. By the way, remember when Trump said the 25th Amendment would come back and haunt Biden?
Oh yeah.
Let's see what happens. I remember.
Well, it seems like they're turning on him. The media's turning on him. I mean, the timing on those documents is just crazy. How just right now they discovered them when when the Republicans are going to take charge of the House.
Right, and it's
That-
his aides.
Oh,
Biden's
that turned
already.
him in.
Yeah,
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 he's the BYEDONE
yeah.
possibly.
Biden. uh, also, what is that dude that had he had the honeypot for a wife? Oh man, they just took him off a committee.
Eric Swalwell.
Yeah.
It wasn't his wife though. It
It
was
wasn't
just his
wife?
girlfriend.
Oh, girlfriend. Sorry. So, he's crying on Twitter about all this stuff, and people are just getting at him, just putting their feet in his chest because he acts like he's not guilty of anything. It's just like
Deny, deny, deny.
exactly. It's just like with Biden with the documents. It's their links to China, and these are very classified documents. And oh man, the storm has to come. If you know what I mean. You know. So I just keep an outlook on all this stuff, and every day there's something. I remember the days when I used to have to wait like a week for something, or probably even a month sometime for something exciting to happen in politics, and now it's every day, right? And I just can't keep up with all of it. So I just encourage people just to keep watching, keep watching. There was a video that came out last night on one of the subjects we can't talk about freely on the internet. I mean, on YouTube because of the censorship. Uh, let's call it the CV, right?
Mhm.
Um, where they're releasing all of the, well, somebody did investigation into all these documents, And they've been doing it for a while on NIH stuff. You know the deal. Those things
Mm,
that. But we found out that in 2020, we knew
mm.
that, and now it's like, ooh, look at all these bombshells. I mean,
It's
I
public.
I don't blame the lady. I don't blame the host for the program that it was on, but we know all of this. It's so frustrating. All of the corruption that went on into what closed down the entire world. Well, mostly. Right?
Yes. Yes.
What you got to say about that? Be careful about the words you say.
What do I have to say about it? It damaged a lot of people. And there has been some restitution. Um, and I also think that it was just to see how obedient people would be.
Mhm. Oh, dry run for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and I remember thinking, well, I'm a free person. I we don't comply with non-elected organizations, and I mean, the whole thing was just insanity.
Right, right. I mean, if people do research into the NGOs, I mean, they've been doing not all, but a lot.
Hmm.
They've been doing a lot of damage around the world since I believe the early 30s or something. Eh,
Yeah.
Rockefeller Foundation, all that stuff. They're the ones that invented ways to launder money. Okay. So a lot of these NGO, nonprofit organizations, non-governmental organizations, they nothing but corruption going on in there. They're not corrupt.
Hmm.
That's their
Hmm.
nature. They're not corrupt. That's their nature. Okay? Lying, stealing, and killing just like the devil.
Yeah, exactly. Let me ask you, what do you think about the Ukraine situation?
Hmm.
What do you tell me your perspective on that?
I did a small video on it, but I had to be kind of cryptic.
Hmm.
We knew the labs were there.
Yeah.
We knew that it was a war started by not just Russia, but the powers that be, the World
Hmm.
Economic Forum, those sort of people, the people that launder money through that country and still doing it and sending all sorts of billions over there. They have somebody wants to put up. It's in the that big bill that just came out. They want to put up some plaque or something.
A bust.
A bust of Zelensky. What?
Yes, in the House of Representatives.
I'm like, what? They're just laughing at us right now.
No, our tax dollars should definitely not be going to a bust of.
Yeah. And did you ever see the video? I think you were there at church. From the dude that watches the airplanes, the Monkey Works,
Oh,
how he was detailing how it had to be the U.S. that destroyed the pipeline.
no, I didn't see that one.
Oh yeah, I believe it was at the conference that we had at our church.
Oh, okay.
So he showed some really significant video about that. I think people should look up Monkey Works and go watch that video. So my thoughts, it's a big hoax in a sense. Don't get me wrong. It is a war. People are dying. People are suffering. But the people that are controlling the narrative are lying to you, right? Um, I remember the big alarm about nuclear war,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the thing to follow. We're still here. Okay, they want to keep you in fear, and even though some of those issues might be real in a sense, they're talking about it. Come on, these people don't want to lose all that. A nuclear war would devastate this planet.
The
Okay,
whole planet,
the
not
whole
just the
planet.
non-elites.
Exactly. Um, so right now I see reports about. I didn't get to read the reports, so just go look for it yourself. About Russia pretty much starting to win that war.
Mm.
Am I a cheerleader for Russia? I am not, but I'm certainly not a cheerleader for Ukraine either. And what you want to also look up is uh, the Nazis that are over there, they've been given power, and some of the gangs have been given power. And this came out in a report by a reporter over there. And what the government is doing there, they are, and I'm going into territory. I might get this video. I have to put this on Rumble. Where they are massacring their own people. So
Well,
everybody,
that's nothing new.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's nothing new, and the coup happened a long time ago. So the coup for the government, and so you really got to do your research in the Ukraine, and I'm just not prepared to go do a deep dive into that, and we're kind of like just skipping the different subjects tonight.
Right.
Mm, but those are my thoughts, and I think if you notice, like on places like Facebook and Twitter, who are the people with the flag in their little avatars? Lefties. They all fell
Are
for it.
they?
Yes, this all over the place. I support this, and I then look at my avatar. It's a big old Ukraine flag.
Oh, right, right. Okay.
And in some places, if you talk about it, you get banned. I know some certain websites that sell music. They're all into Palestine and supporting Ukraine and stuff like that because
Wow.
they suck up the narrative and just swallow it and keep moving, you know, and they will support anything that the narrative says. Just imagine one day there's a false flag and oh well, these are fundamental Christians. They want to usurp our government. They'll go for that too.
Right.
So I just keep a level head about this stuff, but at the same time, I see the narratives that are forming or have been formed, or the ones that have passed that people really think are the real deal. Okay, how much money can we give Ukraine, and they still can't win a war?
And not to mention, there's so much going on in our own country. We
Hmm.
haven't even talked about the open borders that they lie and lie and lie and lie. Uh, Biden finally went to go visit. Where was he, in Texas the other day?
Yeah,
They literally were scooping the illegal aliens up, and we have no idea where they put them, but they were all spread out everywhere, all kinds of tents. It's complete chaos. Um, One of my girlfriend's brothers um, lives in Texas, and I have another friend that lives there as well. But they try to clean everything up, and then the what's his name, Mayorkas, goes on television and just straight up
hmm,
lies and says, I mean, what is this? This is like, I feel like we're in an alternate reality or something.
they call it clown world. We're in clown world.
It's like, are you serious? I
Yeah.
mean, and who does anybody believe these people anymore?
But look at when AOC went to the border. The so-called. She was in front of her fence. No one was there.
Right. You're right.
Putting on the crying face and looking mad, and what? It's just a photo op. See, if people don't understand how the media works and how they play with your mind, they'll just look at this and be like, oh look, she's really sorry for the people at the border that are getting blah 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 blah. You know,
Right.
when we have all this fentanyl coming in that can kill 100 million people.
It's on a killing rampage right
Yeah,
now.
the cartels are in power. There's even wasn't there something going on the other day? The Mexican government having a war with the cartels.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I'm not sure if that's over or not, but they arrested what's his name,
The son of,
son of oh, damn, I want to say the wrong name.
I know.
Anyway, you know who I'm talking about.
Hmm.
uh, so anyway, they arrested his son, and all this stuff broke out. But and people have to understand it's not just people coming from Mexico. That's the smallest amount of people. We have people coming from around the world, from Islamic countries, from African countries, from Obviously, South American countries. It's a mixture of even for people from China, believe it or not. So this is not people just running from oppression. Like say from Venezuela. Some people are getting bussed in. Okay, there's photos of that online. You can look
Mm.
at it for yourself for those that are skeptic. Um, this is an invasion, and the media continues to lie about it. Now, there's something you need to think about. Ask yourself a question: why? If you're the most trusted name in news, like CNN and all these other places that completely try to tell you they're telling you the truth when they're straight up lying, there's something afoot, and it's been around for a while. Operation Mockingbird, where the CIA controls what the media says. They even have stuff going on in Hollywood as well, but uh, you have basically two major corporations that controls most of your media. To get truth, you have to go to alternative media, and that's not a small pocket of our population. The alternative media space is big. You just have to watch out who you're listening to. You got a lot of
Especially now.
yeah, yeah. Especially now, you got a lot of grifters. You got a lot of fraudulent people. You have a lot of new agers. So I mean, listen,
A
just
lot of psyops.
a lot of psyops. Yes, a lot of psyops. So definitely just be careful who you're listening to. But you want to go to alternative media. Go to Breitbart. Go to. I remember somebody told me Breitbart is racist.
Mm-mm.
That's before I even found out about the Marxist plot of using the term racist and all this stuff. And then I figured, so they were programmed to say that to me. I've never read anything racist on Breitbart. So anyway, you got Breitbart. Um, you have Zero Hedge. You have all of the media outlets that they don't want you to see that have been demonized. You have a sources that tell you the truth. Um, so, as I said before, you have two corporations, BlackRock and Vanguard, that own all these media companies. And I'm not saying that everything is coming down from them, but at the same time, there is a control system there. It's like a pyramid system. You join these groups and it's a pyramid. You got one owner, then that fan out to five, and then 10, and then 50, or whatever it is. That's how it seems to be operating. Or they might be operating from some of the instructions are coming from the local area, and it's spread out across the state. You got to be aware of these things because there's so much proof online for it. It's ridiculous. When Twitter started releasing the Twitter files, there were multiple news outlets that started saying to be careful about what you read on Twitter because it's dangerous for our democracy and all that stuff. And this is not a democracy; it's a constitutional republic. They just love hammering you with democracy because it turns to mob rule. That's what they want. So anyway, what do you got to say?
By the way, the cartel father or whatever is El Chapo. So
Yeah,
that was and his son.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I just didn't want to get it wrong. It's late at night, my friends. It was a long day, and it's actually 11:31 Pacific Standard Time. So give me a break. Um,
Well,
so love my audience. Uh, like chatting with you guys on Telegram, on Twitter, and other platforms as well. Thanks for supporting. Don't let them burn, and just being with me on my downtimes. Got a complete college. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, let's get back. So Biden, the administration wants to ban gas stoves, right? How many homes, how many restaurants use gas stoves? And I'm pretty sure there are other places that use these things, right? Uh, it's all about the carbon tax, my friends. They don't want to use natural resources that are plentiful in the earth.
that's right.
There is no end to what they call fossil fuels. It's not fossil fuels, natural. Okay. There's a ton of that. I mean, over in Israel, for goodness sake, there's a ton of oil, right? And we have a ton of oil here. and so they don't want us using that anymore because they want us in slavery. And pretty much this is the start, if they get away with it, to ban. They want, see, if you go on an electrical stoves, which not all are smart, but from what I heard at a tech conference, most all electronics since the late 80s or something like that, or the 80s, have a chip in them. So when the network, the 5G or 6G or whatever goes online in its completion, everything will go online then, right? So check this out. You would go out if they ban these stoves, which I don't know, I even know how they would get away with this, because it's just like banning regular cars. Not feasible
Mhm.
unless people die, right? You would have to go get a smart stove, and so that puts you back on the grid, or whatever you would consider as the grid. My stove is not some smart stove, whatever. Uh, smart means something. It's an acronym. I can't remember what it means right now, but you want to go look that up. And so these you got to have. You remember, there's the Internet of Things, and then there's the Internet of Bodies, right? So the Internet of Things are more non-organic items, like your TV, your camera, your watch, whatever, your toaster. They will all communicate together with smart technology. So that's what this thing is about. That's the bigger picture. It's to
Control.
control the global reset, all that stuff, the technocracy, right? Then there's what you call the Internet of Bodies, and that starts with the jab. Okay, so and it that there's evidence for that all over the place. But if to go further, it would also be about the limbs, the prosthetic limbs, the wearables, the things that are life saving. Like, say for instance, if I had a hearing aid, but this hearing aid was better than the ones before, and it has smart technology in it, could be tracked. You could do all sorts of wonderful things. Seemingly, they tell you the benefits, but they don't tell you the cons, the consequences, right? So this is what it's about. And I keep talking about this because it's real. It's not 50 years down the line. It's
Mm.
now, right? But we have to keep pushing back on this sort of technology in our neighborhoods. So anyway, do you have anything to say about that, real quick?
Well, the taking away the gas stoves. I did hear something about that, but then um, I also read, and I don't remember who put this out, which organization it was. They claimed that that was not something that was being considered.
Mhm.
That was one thing. The second thing is, I mean, if you, I mean, this is just common sense, okay? We all know what's happening with the electricity. Everybody's having blackouts, brownouts, whatever it is. California is telling people, oh, you need to go buy a smart car, but then you can't charge it. It's like, why? That it just doesn't make any sense. So that would make me that makes me skeptical just from the get, even if I knew nothing, even if I knew nothing about any of these things that
Yeah,
we've been talking about. That just would not make sense. And you know what Judge Judy says, if it doesn't make sense, it's not true.
that's right. That's right. You gotta think too hard about it, don't you? Right? It's just not true, right? Uh, so that brings us to another thing dealing with this climate issue, because that's this stove thing is about that too. Uh, the article from ABC News says the rise in heart disease may be explained by extreme weather conditions, study says. All right, so I know we can't touch this subject on YouTube, but I'll just say this. It's official. The phrase "they think you're stupid" has been finally realized. They
Oh no.
they don't want you to look at what everyone is thinking. They want you to look at the climate. Okay? Because what's coming, hopefully not in fruition, but what they want to happen are climate lockdowns. I dare you to go search that out. And you're going to see a ton of articles from Even the regular legacy media. Go search it out, and I think you'll be clutching your heart because they really want this stuff to happen. So, well, most people are preparing for another, you know, demic, but don't just look at that. Look at the climate lockdowns. It's something for you to consider, especially if you live in Australia and Europe, um, because they're over there. They're planning these 15-minute cities to where
Mm.
you won't have a lot of traffic and all that stuff. You're gonna walk everywhere you go. Okay, and you have 15 minutes to get to the store, to the park, to the hospital, whatever it is. And this is a real thing. Please go look it up. I don't have like a bunch of screenshots to show you right now, but you want to look that up. And I will be talking about this again because it's a part of Reign of the Tech, right? So, for those that don't know, that's another one of my segments where I talk about technology and other things like that. So, uh, what are your thoughts on these climate lockdowns and the type of smart cities that they want us to live in?
Well, I think that there has been much evidence of that way before it even came on the came out from underground. It's been going on for a long time, and even when Obama was in office, and there was something that he passed where he made it very easy for people to throw up, like urban apartments and all kinds of things in very small areas.
Yeah.
So if you had a neighborhood that maybe had, I don't know, two apartment complexes or something, and the rest, were single family homes, um, people were able to throw up a lot of multi-family type complexes, and
Mm.
that's keeping everyone so close together. Now, I grew up in Vegas, so I have seen with my own eyes uh, what they're doing and how they're building things, especially lately, like within the past 5 to 10 years. Literally everything is so close together. Even a single family home, you literally can reach out and you can touch your neighbor. The streets are half the size
Mhm.
of the streets, from the 70s. I mean, it's absolutely evident.
Yeah.
So this is this is definitely, it definitely seems like, it is a plan.
Hmm. Oh,
And oh, I want to say one more thing about the climate. By the way, polar bears are no longer extinct. They're no longer in danger. This I just saw this the other day. So
yeah,
everything that these crazy people are trying to get people to believe is just false.
absolutely. The owner of the guy that came out with the weather channel, the owner of the weather channel, he came out years ago and said all of this global warming stuff is all big old hoax. I mean, this
Yeah,
is the guy that founded the weather channel, so he should know, right?
absolutely. Oh, and what about the water situation, especially here?
Hmm.
I don't get it. There is absolutely, I mean, the term water shortage it shouldn't even be used, because is it like 80% of the planet is water? It's high. It's a high percentage.
Yeah, yeah.
So why are we not figuring out a filtration system, or some, like you told, were you the one that told me about Israel and what they're doing?
Yeah.
And it's not even, it's illegal.
Yeah, there is no reason to have bottled water, and there's no reason to have a water shortage. We're
Yeah.
we're we're paying for a natural resource on the planet that no one should control, right?
Yeah.
Now I get it. You know, you have to supply neighborhoods with water, clean running water and all that stuff. I get it, but a lot of the bottled water companies it's a big old hoax. Okay, it's a big old scheme to sell you tap water. Okay, you're better off with a filter. Now, there's certain companies I do support with the bottled water if I need to, if I'm exercising heavily or anything like that, right? But on a whole, if you do research into that whole industry, man, there's a lot of tap water you can be sold, and even some of the water that's supposedly high pH or whatever, low pH. Okay, because most people aren't going to check; they're going to trust what's marketed to them, right? Israel has a technology to pretty much extract water out the air. We have the technology
Yeah.
to do this stuff, and yet they're going to continue with their um, psychopathic dreams to enslave us. And that's what the 7 year tribulation is partly about. It's about this tyrannical world dictatorship through the Antichrist and the false prophet. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. So Jesus Christ made a way out, and
That's right.
the blood on the cross. And you know, this stuff is going to put a lot of people in fear. I mean, the Bible says man's heart will fail them for the things coming upon the earth, and that's coming in the 7 year tribulation. You know,
We won't be here for that.
oh no, 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 no. I believe in the future rapture. There's no change in my mind.
That's right.
No change in my mind. No, no other position is most of it. All the other positions are half truths or straight up lies. Okay, so sorry if you have that position and get mad at me, but sorry, um, that's for another show. But this whole global government that they're trying to create, only God will let it come to fruition because we're talking about 10 kings, we're talking about seven this, and we're talking about um, them giving their power over to the Antichrist. We're talking about the peace treaty with Israel. We're talking about the wrath of God pouring out 7 years non-stop. The wrath of God does not start in the middle of the tribulation. That's the great tribulation. The wrath of God starts the minute the seals are open. Don't let no one tell you anything different. Okay? And if you study your Bible for yourself, taking things literally where they are and figuratively where they are, you'll come out with the same conclusion because God wrote it and He meant what He said.
That's
So,
right.
um, this is the world that we're dealing with, and as we keep moving, we're 3 years in from what happened in 2020. Many things happened. Of course, you know what I'm talking about. The thing that shut down
Mm.
the world, and also the power switch, and also the biggest transfer of wealth in the history of humanity through that same thing that shut down the world. Trillions of dollars, trillions, and then we got the big pharmaceutical companies getting billions of dollars off of what's now people are waking up to the sudden death syndrome that's happening around the world,
That's right.
athletes and all sorts of people. So it's a shame that all of the evidence is being hidden from you. Not everyone that dies of this sudden thing it's actually, they didn't, not everyone took the thing, but, but it's astronomically higher than before. See, so it can't be denied anymore. And that's why all of these Nuremberg trial things are being talked about, Nuremberg 2.0, and a lot of lawsuits are being brought now, especially since the Twitter files showed us the corruption, showed us that they were lying to us, showed us they didn't want us to speak the truth. And I'm sorry if you didn't believe me before, but you better believe now. In fact, don't believe me. Go look for the truth yourself.
Mm.
So we're about to end this program here. I just want you to know that Jesus Christ is the Savior of humanity, and he made it a pretty easy way for you to accept and just believe that He died on the cross, that He rose on the third day, and that He is the Son of the living God. He is 100% God, 100% man, and He came to save you from the consequences of sin, which is death and hell. You don't want to go there because eternity is a very long time. You want to be on the true side of history, which is in eternal life with Jesus Christ. And that's the message from Don't Let Them Burn. Rhonda, what's your closing words?
Well, I wanted to add one more thing about the water. I couldn't even believe this when I heard it. They're trying to figure out a way to put meters on wells. And I don't know if that's here locally or if it's everywhere, but here in Clark County for sure, I'm not sure about the other counties in Nevada, you are no longer allowed to have a well, no new wells. And that's been for some time now. But
So first they hit you with the smart meters. And if you don't know about the smart meters, you want to go research that because a lot of radiation is coming into your home. But now they want to put smart meters on your wells. Why? I always ask why. Are the wells dangerous? Are they poison? Why? Why do you want to regulate my water consumption? Total technocratic control.
That's right. The last thing I would like to say is I thank you so much for this ministry, Chris. You hit a lot of topics that seem to still be hidden. Some of the things are just underneath the surface. Some of them are deep. Everything from Hollywood, the movies, music. These are things that people might not think about every day, but just thank you for being there, making people aware and giving the information, putting the information out there, and just pointing people to Jesus, because we don't live in fear. When you have Jesus, you don't live in fear. Period.
Absolutely, and it's God, man. It's I didn't see myself talking on the internet and podcasts and what that was furthest thing from my mind. I'm a graphic designer, man. I love art, so it's God. He put me here to do something great, and hoping to see where He takes this ministry. And I'm glad that for all my
subscribers.
We reached 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and we're getting more. We got 1,000 on BitChute, and there's other platforms. But just thank you for staying here, and welcome to the new subscribers. And I hope you enjoy the ministry, the message that we have to bring, and ultimately, it all leads to one thing: Jesus Christ. He's the only way to heaven. This is Chris Taylor and Rhonda Settled, and this is Don't Let Them Burn.
If you like our videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to get all our frequent updates.